Good morning from southwest Louisiana. This is the heart of Cajun country. Out here the counties are called parishes, and the signs don't read Smith or Jones. Instead you see names like Jobert, Bouladou, and Babineau. When the Cajuns came to Louisiana, part of the culture they brought with them was their music. Beautiful folk tunes and waltzes. And you can still hear those songs today out here in the bayou country, on front porches, in dance halls, and even when friends just get together for a party. These are not tunes that have been pasteurized and homogenized in an effort to find acceptance on every radio station in the country. They are from the soul of a people, filled with history and emotion. When you hear Cajun music, what do those sounds represent?
It represents my whole life. It represents joy, it represents sorrow, it represents hardship, but also good times.
Cajun music is not written down on paper. It survives as part of the inheritance from generation to generation. Just as Dewey Balfour learned to play the fiddle from his father, he is now sharing that legacy with his daughter.
Music is a universal language. There's such beautiful music that can be handed down from generation to generation, even though it is by ear. It can live forever.
Hank Williams once wrote about being down on the bayou with jambalaya and crawfish pie. That is part of the Cajun lifestyle, and their music does talk about their food and their work and where they live, but it also reminds them of how they got here and of what they had to endure. The Cajun culture is a rich and long one. Even before the British had colonized Jamestown, the Cajuns, or Acadians, had settled Nova Scotia. They were the first French settlers in the New World. Well, the British finally expelled the Cajuns from their homeland in 1755, and they came here to Louisiana, bringing with them their food, their language, and their customs. Even today, French is the first language for more than half of the people in several of the Cajun parishes. And French is the only language used in authentic Cajun music. "89-year-old Dennis McGee and his partner Sadie Corville started playing together as teenagers. Corville remembers when people were looked down on for being a Cajun.
In the 20s, when we made these records, Mickey and I, that I didn't care to have my name put on the records because the general public would look down on people playing Cajun music. But deep in my heart, I was sold on Cajun music.
Dennis, how did you learn to play the violin?
I started in 16 years old. I started to play the violin. One of my cousins, one day he said, "Dennis, I'm going to buy you a violin." He bought me a little fiddle, a red fiddle. I remember that like yesterday. And he put string on, and he got me a bow, and he tuned it, and he played a tune. Tous les deux pour la mamie, ni l'autre qui l'aura, ça sera mon qui l'aura là, sa petite fille. And he said, that's yours. Yeah, play the fiddle now. And you know, before the week I learned that tune.
McGee and Corville, true to the tradition, learned their music from their fathers. And now Sadie, who fears the purity of the old Cajun sound is being diffused with an influx of pop music, is trying to pass his fiddling style along to his grandson Eric.
I'll see what I can do.
Remember number 5?
Dewey Balfa shares the concerns of Sadie Corville. He has put together a group of Cajun crusaders who donate their time to go into schools to preach the gospel of Cajun music. It's an effort to keep alive interest in the Cajun culture.
I feel like the students are the Americans of tomorrow, and I hope to, like I've often said, just plant a seed, and maybe this music will survive.
A strong sense of community and family are hallmarks of the Cajun lifestyle. Balfa and others believe if the music survives, so too will these more important traditions. For today, Boyd Mattson, NBC News, Eunice, Louisiana.
And we'll be back with more on Today after a message.